welcome to the Counterattack playthrough series. We're going to be playing Fields of Fire. It's a solitaire game, only for solitaire. It's produced by GMT Games. Depicts the U.S. 9th Infantry Regiment, known as the Manchus, fighting in the settings of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Designer Ben Hull. This game already has some very nice videos out there already on Board Game Geek and YouTube. It is known for having difficult to follow rules. I don't find them too bad, but there's enough people that say that I figure if I do some videos, I can add to the already good library of videos out there and hopefully help someone out. I'm going to go ahead and play through the first scenario of the first campaign, which is the World War II campaign. It takes place in Normandy. When you do that, regardless of whether you're playing a campaign or scenario, you go to the playbook, find the campaign, that's what this is, and it tells you your order of battle and has a few other notes, about your equipment and things like that. So let's look at our order of battle, which is a U.S. infantry company, and this is what the company looks like. If you're playing the campaign, these guys would go through the entire campaign with you, the ones that survive anyway. Let me give you a little breakdown. We have up here is the headquarters section, consisting of the company headquarters, the company XO, the company first sergeant, 50 cal machine gun, 2 runners in a jeep. Then we have a light machine gun section. I think these are 30 cal machine gun teams. Bazooka section, 3 bazooka teams. Mortar section. Each time you set up for a scenario, you can pick either between a mortar section or break that mortar section up into 3 mortar teams. You can see this has 3 pips here, and each of these is 1 pip. So you can decide to break them up. The reason you might want to break them up is to spread them out across your platoons. Speaking of the platoons, here they are down here. Each has a headquarters element, and then 3 squads. The squads also have 3 pips on them, and we have 3 platoons there. So that's the basic order of battle. But before we do anything with this, we need to set up the map for the scenario. The scenario instructions indicate to make a map that is 4 columns by 3 rows. And in this game, your map is composed of cards. And I went and got the Normandy 44 deck. There's a deck for each setting. And so I'm going to go ahead and make 4 columns and 3 rows. And I'll start with the back row. So you might not be able to see that. Here, let me bring this up a little closer. That's a hedgerow bocage. And, we'll go over these a little later. I'm showing you how I'm setting this up because basically there's some tactical decisions to make during setup. Most games, not so much. Okay, looks like there's some more hedgerows bocage. A hill. So when you draw a hill, you keep drawing until you get non-hill. So there's a marsh on top of a hill. Interesting. Pretty wet hill, I guess. There's a gully. Okay, that's the back row. In the middle row, we have some woods, a church, a farm. Okay, so there's a little village there. Oh, another hill with hedgerows on top. So they're farming on the hill. And then some more woods. So these are both woods here, so I guess it's a large forest. More hedgerow, woods, and orchard. So the different settings, like Korea and Vietnam, will have different terrain completely. So Normandy's pretty dense terrain. Once you've done that, then you set up your staging area. And it's suggested you can just throw down some cards face down like this. Okay, so I'm going to get some Plexi out and continue setting up the map. Okay, I've got the map under Plexi. I've also placed, per scenario instructions, potential contact markers. So you can see them on each of the map locations. This row, they're all C grade potential contacts. These are A grade, and these are B grade back here. Basically, A is the most likely to have an enemy contact. That's what they represent. I guess maybe that's the intel we have. So maybe the A is like the expected main line of resistance. C is sort of the pickets, and B is, the defense in depth, maybe. So that's that. Now, before we do anything else, we need to set up the tactical controls used to define the battle. Some of these are handed down to us by battalion. We're a company, but battalion has given us parameters. One is we mark a control here. That is our line of departure. So this line right here indicates the line of departure, but from our staging area into the battle area. And then we put a limit of advance way at the top. That's another row of how far, that's the max distance we're allowed to advance. We can't go beyond that marker. Likewise, we throw down a left boundary over here and a right boundary over here. You might be asking, why are you doing this? Obviously, those are the boundaries on the map, but the map can grow during the battle. But we're not allowed to go outside those areas. You can maybe think of the left and right boundaries are there because maybe our sister companies on either side of us are advancing at the same time and we don't want to bumble into them. The limit of advance, maybe we don't want to advance farther than those sister companies and leave sort of like a gap where the enemy can come in between the two companies. So that's what I'm saying anyway. So we have that set up. There's some other tactical controls that the company decides on. That's us. One is we need to pick a primary objective and put it on the third row. This is per the scenario, so other scenarios might say other things. And the rules basically suggest you pick good terrain because once you take the primary objective, you need to hold it. So if we take a look at the terrain here, we have bocage over here. Bocage, those are basically like really strong hedgerows made of rocks and trees and stuff, famous in Normandy. A gully, and marsh on a hill. So in general, you just look at this upper left-hand number, and that's how good the terrain is defensively. So this is +2, +2, +1, +2. Notice there's a smaller +1 on these bocages in the gully. That's the defensive benefit if line of sight is not traced through blocking side of the card. And so what I mean by that, let's take a look at this bocage here. There's a border around every card. Some of it's like solid green, some of it's white. And there's 8 directions, so the corners count as a side. So you can see this hedgerow has white here and white here, so you can think of it as maybe the hedge is along here, hedge along here, and then this is like this road that's in the picture going down the middle. So if fire comes in through either of these directions, you only get +1 defense. If it comes through these diagonals or these sides, you get +2 defense. So maybe picking those bocage would be good. Notice this bocage goes this way in terms of the open areas. The marsh is completely surrounded by green, but even if it wasn't, you'd use the hill terrain anyway, and that's all surrounded, so hills are always good. And then that gully over there, looks like the gully flows this way for the picture. So also on the second row, we have some decent terrain with that church, woods. So, and if we're going to be advancing up, there's more woods and more bocage. There's a little more open, not too much, but openish terrain on the right. So I think we're going to put the primary objective up in this corner here. And per scenario rules, we're supposed to also put the secondary objective back there. And then we're supposed to place an attack point. This is our planned sort of rally position where we're supposed to get ready to, get together for the final assault on the objective. We're supposed to put it on the second row, adjacent to either the primary or secondary objective. Might as well just do both, though. We're allowed to do both. I think we'll go ahead and call these woods the attack point. So the idea is when we're attacking, we come out of staging area, main attack force comes up here, attack that way. A few other tactical controls we put down that are optional. We can put down some phase lines. We can define a phase line. We'll see how this works, but basically it's a named boundary that we can use when we're giving orders, as we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and put a phase line 1 marker here. So that's well-known line, phase line 2 up there. So now going in this direction, we have line of departure, phase line 1, phase line 2, and limit of advance. So those are known, I guess, in the vertical direction locations. All right, we got the map set up. Oh, actually, one thing I forgot to mention is another tactical control we place. It's the casualty collection point. It's optional, and we can place it during the battle. I think I'm going to save that for during the battle. We don't want to place it in some like ambush location or a minefield or something. So we'll go ahead and not place that tactical control. Okay, the next thing we got to do is hand out equipment. The campaign indicates the company gets 3 bundles of rifle grenades. So I'm going to give 1 to each platoon, giving it to the first squad. So just setting it on top of first squad of each platoon over here. Okay, by being on top, that means they're carrying them. Then we need to allocate communication equipment. So first off, the CO is going to get a radio on the battalion tactical note. It's an SCR 300 radio, it says, and that is how he will communicate with battalion headquarters. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on this special chart over here. This is the one that comes with the game. There's some fan-made ones that might be a little easier to use, but I'm using this one. So this section represents the CO's assets. So I'm going to go ahead and put the battalion radio there. Then we need to decide if we're going to use radios or field telephones for company communication. Communicating within the company. If we carry radios, they're pretty convenient, except they only operate within line of sight, and there's a lot of terrain on the map. Field telephones have to run wire and spend time laying the wire out, and it can be destroyed by enemy fire. So I think I'm just going to risk it and go with these radios. We get 6 of them. And I can give them to anyone, but I'm going to give them to only the leaders right now. So up here we have the XO, the staff sergeant, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd platoons, leaders at the headquarters, and then I need to give it to the CO. The reason I have to give it to the CO, I don't have to, but this radio is the battalion radio net. This is the company radio net. So, I can't use this bigger radio within the company, as far as I know. Okay. Next, we have a bunch of equipment classified as pyrotechnic devices. We have some flare guns, smoke grenades, colored smoke grenades, white phosphorus grenades, and regular smoke grenades. And basically, especially the colored ones, we can allocate meaning to them. So when we start playing, we're going to be issuing orders to our units. The game has a series of menus of the kinds of orders or commands or actions, whatever you want to call them, that we'll be able to issue to our units. What we can do is allocate orders to these pyrotechnic devices. So when the device goes off, it's the equivalent of being issued that order. You'll see how this works later, but so I'm going to go ahead and keep things simple. And the rules have, some parameters for what you can do. It's basically pretty simple, but I'm going to call anything green. So these green flares and smoke means advance forward. Anything red means ceasefire. Purple, I'm going to say, is seek cover. That's just one of the commands available. Yellow, move backwards. And then white phosphorus and regular smoke, they have tactical uses besides being able to be used for communication. I'm just going to not issue any orders for those. So let me get those set up. So what I've done is I've given a green and red flare gun to the CO and the XO. The rest, all the colored smoke grenades to the company staff sergeant. 2nd platoon is white phosphorus and smoke. 3rd platoon smoke. 1st platoon white phosphorus. So allocate those out. Okay, there's one other piece of equipment right here. That is an SCR 300 radio, kind of like the one the CO is carrying. This is for one allocated to a forward artillery observer. So this scenario that we're going to be playing, we have a forward artillery observer allocated to us. So battalion gave it to us. When the scenario is over, we have to give it back to battalion. So I'm going to have it carry its radio with him. And so here we can see how I've organized the company. There's the headquarters element. I have the artillery observer sort of hanging out with them. Then there's first platoon with a machine gun, bazooka, and mortar team. Second platoon with a bazooka and mortar team. Third platoon, machine gun, bazooka, mortar team. One last setup step, and then we should be ready to roll. Okay, the last step is to set our units up in the staging area. I've gone ahead and done that. Each card can hold up to 16 steps. Remember, the steps are the little pips here. So this platoon was 13 steps. I'm just stacking them up together. I don't have to stack them that way if I don't want to. This platoon was 12. I've went ahead and put the CO and XO with them. And then third platoon, I think was 13, 14, 15, 16. So we get the first staff sergeant, the 50 cal machine gun team, and the artillery observer. And then we have a jeep. Jeeps, vehicles have a different stacking rule. You can have up to 4 vehicles, so we only have 1. The reason I set them up this way, well, I want my company to be advancing in line, so first, second, and third platoon. Put the 2 leading officers or headquarter element units between, in the middle of all the platoons. And then I put the staff sergeant with some support weapons over here because this platoon's on the flank. It's a 4-column map, but I only have 3 platoons. So that one's on the flank, so it might have some extra work to do. One thing I forgot to mention is we needed to set the time of day. So we have daylight. Currently we have no contact. So that's the enemy activity state, no contact. One last bit. We need to record our company setup. So we have this sheet of paper. We record the scenario. I just said World War II 1. How many turns? I would draw circles and I'm going to fill them in as the game goes. You could actually extend the scenario, I believe, so that's why the circles. Don't know how many turns are going to be. Listed all the units along with their experience rating. So all the leaders except the staff sergeant are green. Staff sergeant's regular quality. All the other units are regular quality. There is a veteran state, but we don't have that in this scenario. Some units, mortars, bazookas, machine guns, have to track ammo. So the campaign rules tell you how much ammo each thing has. So I've used circles to fill them, that I'll fill in as the ammo gets spent. You can get more ammo, that's why I'm doing the circle thing. And then our forward artillery observer, I just recorded the 15th Field Artillery 105 millimeter cannons, the kinds of fire missions you can call in. So that's that. All right, we're ready to roll. Okay, we're starting turn 1. All that setup's over. Okay, so we have an extensive sequence of play. Many solo games have that. So we're going to skip a few things on the first turn. So basically what we're going to do is start activating units. Basically the activation happens from headquarters on down. So first we check, is there a battalion headquarters unit on the map? The answer is no. Just our company on the map. So the battalion then issues orders, since they're not on the map, through the radio of the company headquarters. So remember, company headquarters has this radio on the battalion radio net. So they're going to activate our company headquarters. So right here. And what that means is company headquarters draws a card. And then we look on this helmet right here. This card is an action card. These things will drive the entire game pretty much. Each section has a different meaning. So you can think of helmet and helmet on headquarters, they go together. So when a headquarters is activated by a higher headquarters, which ours is, you use this helmet here. That tells you how many commands or actions, I forget the term, but how many things they're going to get. This is a really good card, 5. I didn't even know there was a 5 in here. So they're going to get 5 commands, but then it's going to be modified. There's a few modifiers, but one is if you're green, -1. They're green, so it's 4. And then if there's no enemy contact, +1. So the net is 5. So what we do, and I've seen people's videos online, they do some different things, but you have these little activation markers. Here's the COs. So commands allocated. So he has 5 commands. So put that there. When I'm not using them, I put them down here just because I feel it gets cluttered up here. So 5 commands, and then we can spend them. So remember, there's a menu of orders I can issue. So he could order, I don't know, some units a unit in this stack to do something, like to move. That'd be a command. Can issue, tell the bazooka to move or something. That'd be a command. But headquarters, it's better to have them activate lower headquarters. It sort of multiplies your options. So he has 5 commands. I think he's going to spend 3, 1, 2, 3, each to activate 1st, 2nd, and 3rd platoon. Now, how'd I know I could do that? Well, let me show you. It's because I looked at the menu of command and control actions. There's also movement actions, rally actions. Can I put that onto the camera? Yep. Combat actions. So I know that I can activate a subordinate headquarters or staff for 1 action. It's automatic, so I don't need to draw cards. We'll see drawing cards later. Who can do it? Any headquarter or staff. Well, this was a headquarter. The recipient can be any subordinate headquarter or staff. So the platoon leaders are subordinate headquarters. So that's what I was able to do. Okay, and then I still have 2 actions left. So I could use it to activate XO and Sergeant, or I can do something else. But instead, I think I'm going to save those commands. So there's another marker down here, how many saved commands you have. I'm going to spend 2 to bank them up. So I'm finished off my activation. I have 2 saved commands. The most commands you can save is based on the time of day and your quality. So let's see, max save green during the day. So the most commands I can save is 3. So saving commands, you can think of that, I suppose, as, the company headquarters is not stressed out right now. They have time to plan, so maybe they're planning out their moves, writing down orders. I don't know, just making that up, but that's sort of what I imagine. Okay, so now we process all headquarters that were activated by the CO. That's these 3 platoons. First, we'll do 1st platoon. Draw a card, helmet, 4. They are green as well, +1 for no contact, so -1 for green, so they have 4. So I'm getting some good cards here. So I'll go ahead and throw 4 there. Guess it doesn't really matter what order I do this in. The rules probably say what to do, but I'm just going to go ahead and process them first. So again, they can spend their orders to issue orders to individual units in here. So they can say spend 1 to tell that mortar to move. That's not very efficient though. They could also, instead, there's a command to spend 2 actions to order a platoon move, and there's a few other platoon level actions. So I can spend 2 actions to move this entire stack instead of having to pay 1 per. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want to do that. If I move those units up to this card up here, and the reason I would want to do that is because, remember, our goal is to capture primary and secondary objective. And I think I mentioned this, clear these 2 rows of potential enemy contacts. So we're going to move the front line forward past these 2 rows and then capture those 2 locations. So I need to start moving forward to do that. So I don't want to move the entire platoon forward because I could be walking into an ambush. So instead, I'm going to spend one command. So I'm just moving it down by one over there. One command to order third squad, somewhere in here. Third squad, I'm going to order them to create a limited action team. That's one of the commands I have. A limited action team is basically just a team that is not, it's limited, it has limited actions. So they're going to flip down to 2 steps because they're splitting a step off of that squad to make an assault team. So that assault team just, split off of the squad and is here with the platoon. Now, a limited action team is not subordinate to a platoon. So if I ordered a platoon move, for example, that assault team would not go with the platoon. So the more of these limited action teams I split off, the less easy it is for me to command things. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay, so why did I do that? Well, that's a little one-step unit, and I can send it forward to be a scout. Basically, I can send it up to that card to check things out. So if there's some kind of ambush, well, I'm risking like 1 step instead of 3 steps for the squad, or 13 steps or whatever for the whole platoon. So that was my first action, and I'm going to do off-camera moving the command counter. So I'm going to spend another command to tell this guy to move forward. So he's going to move up to the woods. That's all I do, just move him up. When you move, you become exposed because you're, out of your cover. You're on the move. If the enemy's watching, they see you moving. So that's that. That's how that works. So I've moved. So they still have 2 commands left. I think I'm just going to bank those. So I'm going to complete their activation, give first platoon 2 stored commands, and so then we're going to go to the second platoon. Okay, so second platoon, draw a card. Okay, that one's bad. 1 + 1 - 1. Okay, so they have 1 command available, and this is unfortunate. So I normally would want to, I think, split a scout off like I did, but I don't have enough orders to do that. So I think we're going to just order an entire squad forward, just risk it. So spend that order to tell this whole squad to move up to this hedgerow. They are exposed. Then their command activation's done, nothing saved. Third platoon. What do we have? A 2 + 1 - 1. Okay, so that is enough to do my split squad. Wrong unit. Split a team off of this squad for 1 action. So there's an assault team there. And then order it forward. I think this is a errata counter. I'm missing a P there. I think I have one that's not wrong. There we go. We'll figure out what that means later. Order it forward with the second action. It is exposed. And that's all the commands for second platoon. Now, let's see. Remember first platoon back here when they ordered this squad to split off a team, 1 order, then another order to move forward, and they still had 2 orders and I saved them. Well, what I would have liked to do is told this guy to seek cover. That's one of the commands, so it can find cover so that to protect itself, but also when the platoon moves up, the platoon can use that cover that he scouted out. Why didn't I do that? Well, as soon as he moved onto this other card, he was out of visual and auditory range. I can't command him. He just went into the woods, and the headquarters just has to hope he's doing whatever he needs to do. If he was carrying a radio, I could communicate with him. but he is out of communication right now, so I couldn't order him to seek cover. All right, so next, all the headquarters that were activated by higher headquarters have been processed. So then you go through those that weren't, and there aren't any. Then you go through senior staff. That's the XO and the CO. So if they're not activated by anyone, they just get one command each. And I'm going to save those commands. They're just going to sit tight. Yeah, what I could have done, I should have thought of this earlier, is instead of sending that one squad up, I could have had the platoon headquarters split a unit off and then had the XO order it later. But oh well, squad moved out. Finally, there's this general initiative, it's called, segment or phase, where we flip a card and then we look at this number below the helmet. So we have one action. It's not modified by anything. That one's special. That's one action anyone can do. So they can do something on their own. So what I think I'm going to do is use that one action on this squad. So you can think of it as they took their own initiative to do something, and what they're going to do is they're going to seek cover. So what we do here is, so this is a hedgerow card. Right here tells you how much potential cover is there. So there's 2 potential locations that are cover. And I'm going to draw 4 cards to see if there's any cover. I'm going to modify my card draw by +1 for veteran units, -1 for green units, and 0 for regular. Well, this guy's regular. So I'm going to draw 4 cards. I'm looking for the word cover. So that one says cover. So I found cover. Even though I found it, I still need to draw 4 cards just to keep the probabilities of the deck draw working as designed. So we found cover. So we go ahead and put a cover marker on the card. We could have up to 2 cover markers, but we've only found 1 area on the card that's cover. So that's sort of a micro location. So the card is the main location. This is like a micro or inner location on the card. I picked this kind of cover, which is like rural cover, I suppose, because it matches this icon. There's other kinds of cover, like urban cover. So when you discover cover, you may immediately enter it if you so desire. So I'm going to have this guy immediately enter the cover. So he's found a fold in the ground or rock or a bunch of trees, whatever. Well, he's in hedgerows, so I guess he's hiding behind a hedgerow. Okay. So next, we're going to process the enemy's turn. Well, there is no enemy right now. But we're going to check out those potential contacts. One thing about this game that's very different from other tactical games like, I don't know, Advanced Squad Leader or Combat Commander, or, you know, those family of games, is that combat in this occurs simultaneously. So if there are enemy units on the board, like, it wouldn't matter. I do all my moves, and then the enemy does all their moves, and then combat is simultaneous. So right now, I need to resolve these potential contacts. So what we do is we're going to randomly pick one. So we have 1, 2, 3 potential contacts. I'll call them 1, 2, 3. We're going to randomly pick a number at the bottom of this card. Under the 3, because there's 3 possible choices, it says 2. So we're going to do the second one. So 1, 2. What is this potential contact? Well, it's category C, which is the least likely to have enemy contact. Look at this little handy card here. The type of potential contact marker is C, and the current activity level is no contact. We're going to draw 4 cards. Okay, so drawn 4 cards, and I'm looking for the word contact near the top to see if we have potential contact. Yep, there's contact. There's another one, so I have to do all 4 cards. There's contact. We come over to the scenario. We find the potential contact C section. It has 10 items. We're going to do a random card draw. 10. On the 10 column, we can see it's 3. 3. That's not good. 3 is number 2, incoming artillery. Now that we know what the enemy is, we look up on the German force packages chart, 2 incoming artillery. It says place volume of fire PDF. We'll see what that means. Is it spotted? No. It's placement at max line of sight. What is it? It's an incoming marker and an artillery forward observer spotter 1 and 5 millimeter. So first off, here's the spotter. It's going to be at max line of sight. I need to figure out what max line of sight is. We basically go to the scenario instructions. It says unit placement there. I need to figure out the direction. So 1 to 10, a 10 is a 7 here. 7, oops, 7, left front at max line of sight. Okay, so here's where we are. The forward artillery observer is going to be left front at max line of sight. So max line of sight is going to be here, because if it was here, they wouldn't be able to see through. And it could be here though, if, if it was able to see that far, we could put another card over there. We're not, so this guy is right here. And an incoming marker is placed on our board. So that basically means, I guess, we can hear artillery coming in. So it's not going to be good. Okay, one more thing. It said he was not spotted. So I'm going to take the back of a potential contact marker, the one that just has a question mark on it, and place it on him. So that means I don't know where he is. Also, all per the scenario instructions, if it doesn't indicate otherwise, he'll be in a trench cover. So, oops. So I'm going to put the trench on top of him to show he's inside the trench, and then he's not spotted by me. Okay, it's kind of a lot of work, but I will kind of expedite it next time something like this happens. So one good thing though, we can take this potential contact marker, and I'm just going to put it in my casualties area of the board over here, just to record that I cleared 1 C grade location. So one thing, when you put a marker from the enemy fire on a card, you have to check the current activity and have to adjust it. It's basically a card that describes what the current activity level is. So no contact if there's no volume of fire or PDF marker. There's contact if 1 friendly occupied card is under a volume of fire marker. One thing I forgot to do is place a PDF. So according to the enemy, so here's a PDF. That stands for primary direction of fire. So I'm going to point it this way. So that means that guy is firing on here. I mean, he's phoning in the fire, but so anyway, if there's a volume of fire on a card, our enemy contact level goes up. So I'm kind of interpreting this, but it seems like all the things that are labeled volume of fire have a VOF written on them, or like a negative number. This doesn't. So I'm going to say those shells are still on their way, and there's not actually bullets flying or shrapnel flying through the air yet. So there's no volume of fire, so I'm going to still call it no contact. That might not be the right thing, but that's what I'm doing. The reason it matters is as soon as we have something more than contact, when we're activating, we have to, we don't get our +1 anymore. Okay, now this guy will be 1, this will be 2. Which one is going to have to resolve next? I'm looking at the 2, it's the 1. This guy here. Looking at this card again, we're going to draw 4 cards. Looking for contact. No contact. No contact. Nope. Good. No contact. So we successfully scouted that card, cleared it. Okay, the last one is over here. So no need to randomize that. Again, 4 cards. Oop, got contact. I'll just burn these 2 more cards here. Okay, so we have contact. So what do we have here? Looking in the potential contact C area. 1 to 10, we have a 6. A 6 is light machine gun nest, number 7. Light machine gun nest, number 7. Place PDF, yes. Is it spotted? No. Where's it going to be? On same card, really? Whoa, interesting. What are we going to put there? A light machine gun team under foxholes. Okay, let's go dig one of those out. Okay, so here's our light machine gun team. I looked it up, it has 6 ammo. I've written that down on this back of the chart of this form. I got the artillery spotter, the light machine gun team, ammo, number of shots the artillery spotter can take. Okay, so it said put it on the same card. It's going to be in foxholes. And it's going to be unspotted. Interesting. We've cleared this potential contact. It places a volume of fire. Or a PDF, I should say, and a volume of fire. So what is the volume of fire going to be? So this guy says A, automatic weapons. So I'm going to go dig out a volume of fire marker for automatic weapons. It says -1 + 2. So I'm going to put it over here. That's showing how much metal, how many bullets are flying through the air here from that guy. So the level of bullets is automatic weapons. Okay, we just finished resolving all those. Notice no attack has actually taken place. By placing this light machine gun here with the PDF and a volume fire, it's just showing like over the course of whatever a round is, a couple minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know. That machine gun is in a hidden location shooting away over an extended period of time while this guy is moving over an extended period of time into these woods. So I'm not like rolling a die or anything to resolve an attack. Okay, so now that all the potential contacts have been resolved, we're going to do combat. It's all simultaneous. Now, unfortunately, the Americans have not spotted the enemy, so they can't be shooting back. So the order does not matter, and it's all simultaneous. So we're going to see what's going on here. So automatic weapons fire, -1, is coming in on this guy. He's also -2 for being exposed as he's moving. He's in woods, so +2. So I'm basically adding up the modifiers for the combat here. So it's the total modifiers -1. Drawing a card. Looking up on this section over here for -1. -1 is pinned. So looking for a pinned marker. These guys are pinned. I believe pinned status immediately removes your exposed marker. Not that it matters because at the end of the turn it comes off. So he is pinned. What does that mean? Well, by being pinned, he can't, well, he's limited in what he can do. And he is a +1 the next time we resolve combat. So that means being pinned, you're actually harder to hit, probably because you're laying on the ground. Okay, so he's pinned. Now this bad one over here, we flip the pending fire mission to incoming. It said when this artillery spotter came in, its strength, or whatever you want to call it, is -4. So -4, +1 for cover, plus not +2 for the hedgerow, but +1 since it's coming from the top, not from the sides. I just need to make sure that's true. Well, I can't find what I thought I had read, so +2 is if the fire comes across a green hex side. +1 if it's coming across, not hex side, card side. +1 if it's coming across a white one. Now this is plunging fire though from artillery. So it's crossing neither, but I guess it is crossing this green here. So we're going to call it +2, +3 for the cover, -4. -2 for being exposed. So so 3 plus a -6, that's a -3. Reshuffle the action deck. Hold on. -3 hit. Okay, that's not going to be good. Draw another card to see the effects of the hit. The hit, so hit effect, we look here. Line is A. That means assault team. So this might sound strange, but basically an assault team was created. So we're going to go ahead and flip this squad and put an assault team with it. You might be wondering, well, what? So basically it just means the unit has become disorganized. One part of the unit is now split off. It's harder to command these guys to do things, so it's just becoming a little bit disorganized. Okay, so that's all the combat. So we process the end of turn, which is remove all exposed markers. From here, let's see, did we have exposed here? Oh, I already removed that. Yeah, okay, so that's the end of the turn. That was pretty quick, just because the game just got started, but it's pretty bad here. So we have some artillery coming in, called in by someone we can't see. We scouts moved on into these woods, and then they came under machine gun fire. They don't know where it's coming from, so that's not good. One little bookkeeping thing we need to do here is on the enemy section of this form, I need to expend 1 ammo for the machine gun and 1 fire mission for the forward artillery observer. And then for the turns, we've just finished a turn. That was turn 1.